Lost Soul, a Confederate Soldier in New England by Les Rolston. Prologue. The Kawasaki four-wheeler whipped through knee-high Mississippi grass. Seated behind our guide, Vital Davis, I dangled from the edge of the seat like a reluctant rodeo cowboy. As we scaled fallen trees and other obstacles, it became evident that if we were to reach our destination, it would only be by such a mode of travel. Overgrown, barely passable paths yielded little evidence of a thriving plantation from 150 years past. Each avenue dead-ended in thicket. Vital found it hard to conceal his growing doubts about finding a little cemetery somewhere in the surrounding wilderness. He had stumbled upon the ruins 10 years earlier while hunting in these same woods, never expecting to take visitors there, but I had traveled more than 1,000 miles hoping to find a brick-walled burial ground on the remnants of a plantation known as Mount Independence. A foray of more than 2 miles into the woods and thus far yielded nothing. One noteworthy than a terrified armadillo. Without a word, Vital suddenly cut the ATV's engine, dismounted, and began walking uncertainly into a particularly dense portion of forest. I followed a few paces behind. About 30 yards ahead, the shape of a modest headstone emerged through the shadows and light. "There is," I cried to my wife, who had remained with the vehicle. Vital smiled with relief as I impressed patted him on the back. Mount Independence Cemetery was devastated, ravaged by time, nature, and careless locking. Every stone was toppled or broken. The remains of brick walls laid in heaps. Nevertheless, I was thrilled. I had found another key piece of a Civil War soldier's life story. The stone tablet that was the object of our search lay broken in 5 sections. Gently repositioning the stone and coating it with a light layer of dirt, I deciphered this inscription. This monument was erected by W.D. Postlethwaite to the memory of his beloved wife Susan, who departed this life on the 10th of September A.D. 1835, aged 21 years, 4 months, and 4 days. The loneliest in this world of sadness are destined to decay. The first, and those whose fate seems woven of gladness, are mournful victims of the worst. Though she, like roses, rudely torn in graceful fragrance from their stem, bloomed like her emblems of a morn, and crushed and withered like them. The young wife of William Dunbar Postlethwaite had died 6 days after giving birth to her second child, Susan. Little Susan's life was to span the gold rush in the West, a Civil War reconstruction, and the advent of the automobile. Long after the days of King Cotton and the grandeur of plantation life had become distant memories, Susan would live her last days alone at the plantation her father had built for her mother. She was a true steel magnolia. The eldest Susan hadn't lived to spend a single day at Westmoreland plantation, but William would remarry and raise 7 more children with his second wife, Sophia Carter, on its 1,800 acres. Only daughter Susan, refusing to leave, would reside on Westmoreland's remnants at the dawn of the 20th century. By that time, Westmoreland's scale had been diminished by the sale of much of its acreage by sharecropping, which continued at what is now known as Westmoreland Farms as late as the 1970s. Susan came into sole possession of Westmoreland upon the death of her only full sibling, a brother named Samuel, 2 years her senior. Susan's brother died at 43 years of age in the unluckiest of places for a plantation owner. 1,000 miles away in the quiet village of River Point in the industrialized seafaring state of Rhode Island. Samuel Postlethwaite's grave had been marked by a simple stone bearing the inscription SP. The tiny monument did not survive the years, but in 1995, 12 decades after Sam Postlethwaite's death, 100 people would convene at the mansion of Rhode Island Civil War Governor to honor him. A nearly forgotten soldier, a lost soul, sadly symbolic of so many soldiers whose deeds and sacrifices have been forgotten, was finally to have his dignity restored. It's a marked grave. This is Sam's story, and the story of the scores of people who put aside differences and came together as Americans to rally on his behalf. Civil War Confederate soldiers. He served during the Civil War as a private in Company D, 21st Mississippi Infantry. He is subject of Les Rolston's book Lost Soul, the Confederate Soldier in New England.